Hi! Today I have tips on mailing handmade cards to help ensure that they get there protected and on time. We want to be able to avoid getting one back in the mail with ruh-roh, extra postage required. Even if your handmade card is an ounce or under, sometimes it still requires extra postage. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 18 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand stamped smiles. So I'm going to show you a simple way to determine if it'll need extra postage to save you a mailing ruh-roh. Before I share my tips on mailing handmade cards, I wanted to give you a better view of my Scooby-Doo stamps. How stinking cute are these? Scooby-Doo was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. Okay, I know, I just aged myself, but that's all right. And as of February 2019, these are still available. All right, so the first thing when mailing handmade cards you need to think about is the weight. For an ounce or less, it mails for a first-class stamp in the United States. And so this Flourishing Phrases card that I designed, pretty flat, right? No dimension to it, no Stampin' Dimensionals. I have some layers, but that's pretty doggone flat. So this slides in easily into my coordinating very vanilla envelope. I am good to go. This is going to mail for a first-class stamp. Here's where things change. Now with my Amazing Life card, I've got layers with dimensionals between each of them, and then this beautiful ribbon. Okay, so I'm still at the right weight. I have scales that I check to make sure I'm still at an ounce or less easily, but this is bulky. And so whenever you get over an ounce, they have these stamps for the second ounce or for non-machinable. And they have a chart up there with a slit in it that if it doesn't slide through easily, it's not machinable, okay? And we need that second ounce stamp. Well, they wouldn't give me that chart. I don't know why, but I came home and discovered, look what we have here. Something that's already at our fingertips anyway. Our Stampin' Trimmer, well, that's a 1/4 inch slot. So if I'm wondering, like with this one, if I go to slide it through and it hangs up on that ribbon, I'm not terribly surprised at all. It's like, okay, it's not sliding through there easily. This is when I need that second ounce stamp. Not because it's too heavy, but because it's not machinable. All right, and so two things will happen. Well, three, maybe it'll go through, would be the first, and you'd cross your fingers. But the second one, not desirable, would be whoever you're sending the card to would have to pay the postage on the other end. We don't want to do that. Or worse, it comes back to you. So now the card didn't get there on time, but it'll stay on there, additional postage required, but the first class stamp will be canceled. So now you have to get out a new envelope, address it, put on another first class stamp and that second ounce. So that's starting to get pricey. A lot easier to add that second ounce stamp. And right now it's 15 cents. It was 21, they dropped it down to 15. So just an easy thing to do is just slide it through that slot on your Stampin' Trimmer and know what kind of shape you're in. Okay, so another thing they're looking for is variance if they vary more than a 1/4 inch. With my Tea Together card, now I have dimensionals on there, but that's not more than a 1/4 inch. And so this should mail for a first class stamp, okay? Now I have to say, the post offices, it seems to vary by the post office, their interpretation of this. Some post offices, not a lick of trouble, and someone else, their post office may say, oh no, you need to add an extra. So typically this should mail easily with just a first class stamp. Here's another game changer, and that's when you add a hard embellishment like I have here on my Humming Along card. And so let me show you. You slide this into the envelope and it's hard and you can feel it. All right, so some post offices, that alone will stop them. They'll tell you you need more. Okay, so even though we don't have more than a 1/4 inch variance, this is still under an ounce. That hard embellishment can get that requirement. But here's what you can do. And because, again, we don't want to damage the mail sorting machines, that hard thing could get, damage that, get caught up in there. All I do is take a piece of printer paper. Now I use 24 pound, okay, 24 pounds, so a little bit heavier than the 20. Put this over top before sliding it into the envelope. And then suddenly that's not hardly as noticeable at all, and it protects the piece. And then I'm able to mail these for a first class stamp. Here's another one. All right, now the pearls, same thing. You know, those are really hard. What I've seen happen, and look, when I slide this in, I'll show you. And this is without hardly any pressure at all. They start breaking through the envelope. So you can see how that could get hung up. And so not only that, you know, I've seen them arrive chipped. Again, just that piece of printer paper protects them from getting chipped and protects the envelope and helps to stop them from getting hung up and costing you that extra 1/4 ounce. Now, I have received cards where they'll put a piece of cardstock on top to protect it. That will work too. For me, the paper has worked just beautifully. With a piece of cardstock, you just have to make sure it doesn't get too wide to slide through this easily. All right, so if I put a piece of cardstock on there, probably would have hung up. But that piece of paper is just an amazing thing, what something so thin can do. So even on my by the way card, this is medium baker's twine, and so that knot is a little bit hard. It's just so easy to just add that piece of paper and slide into the envelope to protect the envelope, the machine, and your pocketbook from some extra postage. Now you know how to help ensure that your handmade cards get there protected and on time. And if you'd like more of my stamping tips, well, I invite you to subscribe to the Stampers Insider. It's your free stamping source for inspiration, information, and ideas. Just go now to www.thestampersinsider.com to subscribe. I'm Shelley Godbee, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.